Welcome back, Kraken McCoy's Chicken Tending Series Part 7. Today we're going to be talking about the difference between conventionally raised chicken and regeneratively raised chicken. This video is going to be a little bit longer than anything I've ever posted, so please stick around and make sure to drop any questions that you have in the comments. I will try to answer all of them. This is a conventional chicken growing facility. It has 4 walls, a roof. The chickens see very little sunlight, and they don't really leave until they're being sent to the processing plant to be butchered. They spend their whole life in here until they're ready to be sent to the processing plant. And what they're walking around on is not dirt. It's their own manure, which means that because chicken manure is pretty dusty, it's also in the air, which means that it's in the water and the food and their digestive system and their respiratory system. I took that video off because it gets pretty graphic and I don't know what the social media sites I'm posting this to allows. But because there is feces everywhere, they have to be fed medicated feed. Because if they're not fed medicated feed, they'll all die. So they're raised on antibiotics, which makes whoever eats the meat more resistant to antibiotics. And tiny particles of their fecal matter is running throughout the entire chicken. When they process these at major food corporations, they usually rinse them in chlorine like up to 10 times. Plus, the medicated feed that they are eating is also usually grown with Roundup Ready crop. That means that it's all sprayed with pesticides, glyphosate, and all sorts of bad things. Now, I haven't found anything that said explicitly glyphosate causes cancer, but in 2015, the International Agency for Research on Cancer said that glyphosate is probably carcinogenic. And probably carcinogenic from 10 years ago, when we were spraying less of it on everything, is enough for me to want to avoid it entirely. As you saw in the video, they're also raised shoulder to shoulder. They have no room. So any sickness that happens gets spread throughout the entire flock right away. From time to time, we've seen chicken meat shortages, egg shortages, big egg shortage a couple years ago. Salmonella recalls, all sorts of things have been happening pretty much for my entire life. You get at least one of those a year. And I'm not even going to get deep into how they're processed because this video is already going to be long enough. If you're interested in that, tell me and I'll make another video. So we've seen a quick clip of what conventional chicken farming looks like. Here's what regenerative chicken farming looks like. These are called chicken tractors. As soon as the chickens grow their feathers enough, they're put in these and they are outside for the entirety of their life, which means that they get sunlight, fresh air, and they move every day so they're not walking around on their own feces. It's a little bit more labor intensive and it can be a little bit more expensive, especially because most regenerative farmers use glyphosate-free, all-organic feed. While the feed is more expensive and higher quality, they also use less of it because the chickens have an opportunity to be a chicken when they're outside. They scratch in the ground, they eat worms, roly-polies, grass, whatever they can find. And because there's a diversity in the food that they eat and forage for, plus the all-organic feed, you have a higher meat quality, a healthier chicken, less loss to sickness. Not to mention, while you move these tractors every day, you leave behind you a trail of fertilizer on your pasture, which will create more productive pasture in the future. Chicken manure is one of the best fertilizers for crop, pasture, whatever. It's full of nitrogen, which turns into nitrates and adds to the soil content, which is great because most of the rest of the row crop farming we do takes away from the topsoil content. Those conventional chicken growing facilities, they sell their manure as well, which is good. But I would wager to say, I have no evidence to support this, but I would wager to say that the manure coming from a chicken eating a diverse diet, foraging, and all organic feed is probably better for the soil than the manure that you get from a conventional chicken facility. So in conclusion, because this video is already so long, with regenerative farming, the chickens are healthier, which means the meat's healthier, which means it's less toxic for you to eat. And you can usually pick it up the same day that it's butchered from a regenerative farmer on their land, which means that you get to see how they were raised and probably look at the next batch that that farmer is raising and know exactly where your food is coming from. So get on your Facebook groups, talk to people you know that are already farming, and see if there's a way that you can support someone locally and get better quality food for yourself. Most of the time, it's not that much more expensive than if you were to buy a whole chicken from Costco raised conventionally. There are thousands of homesteaders and small farmers and regenerative farmers popping up. There's new ones every day. Heck, I'm a new one. Try to support them if you can, because they care about leaving the land better than they found it, and they care about giving you high quality food. Last thing I'm going to say, there was no shade intended on conventional farming. I understand that most of you guys are locked into a loan or a contract with a major food corporation that might rhyme with bison. So I got no hate towards y'all. I just think that this is a better way to raise the birds, and it will leave the land in better shape, and it will give the masses higher quality food. That's all I have to say. Thanks for watching. Make sure if you have any questions, you drop them in the comments. I'll probably make more videos on this if it gains some traction. And yeah, thank y'all.